Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 56. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined as always by James St. Charles and Ted. I didn't make up a nickname, so we're going to call you Sir Sips a lot, Libby, because you took a sip. I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's rough.
You got to keep tradition alive. Tradition never dies. Just like Goonies. Goonies never say die.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Anyways, if you don't like Goonies and you like video games, that's great, because this is the 56th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. Well,
hold on, the Goonies is great. What are you talking about?
Everyone should like the fucking Goonies. If you don't like
True.
the...
Okay.
I'm going to take it back. If you don't like the Goonies, stop watching. We don't want you. We don't want your view.
The Goonies? You imagine seeing the Goonies for the first time ever?
Like as like an adult?
I remember
as an adult seeing the... I got to check with some friends, see if they've seen the Goonies.
Yeah.
Everyone should see the Goonies. That should be a classroom requirement.
Goonies is great. A young Josh Brolin in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. Because this is the 56th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we sit down and Skype across 500 miles to talk about video games that we've been playing and a main topic. This week's topic, we're going to talk about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, primarily Mass Effect 1, but I've played like 10 hours of Mass Effect 2, and I can't wait to talk about it because I have an obsession.
Yeah, I cannot play Mass Effect at the pace that you are playing it.
No. Yeah, I don't know how you blasted there was, because I'm just like,
I'm savoring my time.
No. I started playing. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the show, remember to like, subscribe, share, do all of that jazz. And for the love of God, I'm not even going to ask Ted because he sucks. James, what do they got to do?
They got to tell their mothers.
Exactly. Tell Linda. Tell Sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell them what's up. Okay. Now, before we get to our main topic, before we talk about games we're playing, I got a main question for you. E3 is coming up very soon. Xbox just announced their Xbox Bethesda conference. It's Sunday at 10.
Before they're separate, and now you get this big joint conference with Xbox.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
And I think we'll dive into that a little bit, but they've kind of confirmed that Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC.
I think they have confirmed that, and even their like conference thing shows like
Starfield,
kind of a Starfield-esque.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's going to be breakdown on Starfield.
Yeah.
I want to know, and this might pertain to Starfield, what is the game that you are most looking forward to that's already announced to finding out more details about?
Dying Light 2.
Oh, explain.
They had a trailer recently that says like it's a trailer for a trailer. You know, like those announcement trailers?
Yeah.
That game's been dead in the water for so long, and I don't know what to expect from this.
Yeah.
But I'm most looking forward to that because if it's anything like Dying Light 1, I'd be so happy. But if
Ubisoft's Skull and Bones.
Skull.
Unfortunately,
sorry, I thought we were talking about irrelevant games that were announced.
Nintendo Mario Golf.
They have announced that Skull and Bones will not be at this E3, but it is still alive. It was recently delayed again.
Behind that.
Yeah, that's a fascinating game to just like peel apart. Because what is it? I mean, we know what it is, but obviously they're reworking the hell out of it. It's like it's not the game we saw like 4 E3s ago or whatever it was.
This E3 is gonna be big because I feel like a lot of people had a year to kind of like restructure and feel like, all right, this is what we're gonna be able to produce in the next couple of years, given the current status of like telework and whether or not people are gonna come back and how they're gonna navigate that.
Yeah,
I think God of War is another one. I'm pretty excited for.
Yeah, I gotta imagine. Officially announced today. I mean, confirmed today. The title is God of War Ragnarok. At a Sony investor call, they put up a splash screen with like PS5 titles, and it's God of War Ragnarok is the title. So we kind of figured. That's the thing. They say this year.
Winter, maybe.
Yeah, but I can't imagine this game is coming out this year. Now, this is the interesting thing about. Sorry, now I'm going to go on a little Sony tangent really quick. Because this is where my specialty is. So, Horizon Forbidden West, there's a state of play tomorrow. We're recording the show on Thursday, so it'll be in the past for people listening to the show. But there's a state of play with like 14 minutes of gameplay, and it's a 20-minute show. So there's probably 6 minutes.
Just for Horizon?
Just for Horizon.
Nice.
So I got to imagine that's going to have a release date. And if that's like August, September, then there's a chance that maybe God of War is November.
So I guess if Horizon comes out like around that time frame, then yeah. If not, they push everything.
Yeah.
You don't want to release like boom boom and then have one suffer.
No, especially because Ratchet comes out next month, and then
but then you have a couple months. Like you have this break basically in the summer, which is not good. But
no, and Deathloop is stationed as a PS5 exclusive consoles, so it's not on Xbox, which is so funny because they own that game now. So
existing stuff probably like they can't get around.
Yeah,
that Bethesda already had in place. Yeah,
and it does sound like Uncharted 4 is coming to PC. So
that's awesome.
That's big. Yeah. So I would expect to see Last of Us on PC.
Sony is putting all of their older products on PC, and it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
Totally makes sense. Yeah.
With the recent success of Days Gone, you might see them shift some more money to that studio. I cannot remember Bend.
Sony Bend, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. And
they outsourced. I think they outsourced Horizon, the first like Horizon game to port PC, and it sucked. And then they did Days Gone by themselves, and it's great. So I think they'd be like, all right, you guys take this money. This is your job. Port.
Yeah. Also, great is not a good word, but it's Days Gone and it works on the PC.
I mean, it's a Days Gone. It's a good port. Like the port is good. It's Days Gone the game, which
yeah,
it's up in the air whether or not it's good or not.
There will not be a Days Gone 2.
I really want to play that game. That's one of those things where like there's a small cult following of like, oh, Days Gone was good.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to join that, but
of course you do. Though, as I found out earlier, Ted won't beat it. I didn't know this about you, that you don't beat games. Like rarely.
Rarely do I beat games. If I lose interest before it's over, I will stop.
So I've been there with some games, like where it's just, man, it's a slog, and I will not beat this. And then some, it's like it's the reverse. It's like I hate this game so much, I am just gonna beat it.
I'm gonna beat it.
I'm gonna really like Outer
Wild? No, Worlds.
Yeah. Outer
Worlds. Yeah. I forgot
like,
you beat that.
Towards like half the game, I was just like, you know what? I'm powering through. This is not a fun game.
Yeah. Ted, are you serious that Skull and Bones is like the game you're most excited to hear more about?
No, I'm excited for. I want to know more about potentially the 3 big shooters all coming out this November.
Battlefield,
new Call of Duty, new Battlefield, and new Halo.
Yeah. We know new Battlefield 6.
Potentially, supposedly, might all be releasing on the same month.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which would be wild.
Nice.
And we don't really know what any of those 3 look like. Really, we kind of know what Infinite looks like.
Well,
but
Battlefield, they've leaked a bunch.
Infinite, they've definitely like redone some stuff.
Yeah.
Like after that like abysmal trailer, like they know that they like.
Yeah, Battlefield is going to be something, and Call of Duty is also going to be something. But these are games that come out on a rapid clip that suddenly had to have their entire dev teams working from home.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see what those will look like.
I wonder if we'll get something similar to Black Ops 3, 4, whichever the one that had Blackout in it.
This was a World War II. It's a World War II Call of Duty, I believe.
The new one coming out.
Rumor has it it's going to be a alternate history World War II.
Like Wolfenstein?
Yeah, like it's 1945 and we haven't beat the Nazis yet.
I don't know how that's going to work with Warzone, because Warzone like stays forever, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's what they've said.
Are they just going to put some of those guns in there? Because please, they'll
make it World War II.
World War II, please.
Affied, yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. God. Everyone's gonna have Tommy guns.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious about Call of Duty, because I'm curious more if they have a campaign, because that was the thing they cut from the Blackout version. I don't know, Black Ops 4, 3, whatever it was.
4.
They cut out campaign. You had Blackout, which was before Warzone.
Yeah, and then
which was fun. We played that.
It was fun. So I'm just kind of curious what they do.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious what the big players will do this November.
Yeah,
and then I'm really curious to see what Microsoft does with Game Pass. They have the perfect platform to say, and it's available now, and then everyone goes crazy.
Do you think that's Psychonauts 2?
What? It has to be. Psychonauts 2 has been working for so long.
It has to be something that grips a mass market.
Psychonauts 2
is really excited about free stuff. And they just acquired Bethesda, who famously put out Fallout Shelter after the presentation, and that was a phenomenal success.
76, make it free. Let's go.
It's what the world needs.
No.
I think the game. So
I'm curious. I wish I could tell you I'm curious to see what Ubisoft is making, but
after playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, after really loving Odyssey and playing Valhalla, I was like, oh, okay, no, it's pretty similar.
Yeah. Having not played an Ubisoft game in a good long minute here, I'm excited for 5, but I also feel very burned out on their Ubisoft formula.
You're excited for 6, Ted.
What?
Far Cry 6?
Oh, 6. I'm so sorry.
You missed a Far Cry.
Oh my god. 7 if you include Primal.
No, he didn't miss anything with 5.
And 8 if you include Blood Dragon.
I could wipe 5 like the ending from my memory forever and never go back to that game. I'd be like, oh great, Far Cry 5. Like
Far Cry 5 is the epitome of a bland Ubisoft game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
God,
So yeah, I'm curious what our new Microsoft overlords have in store.
I'm fascinated by Microsoft
because they need it. As somebody who is checking out Xbox consoles at the moment, there's not a lot of new interesting stuff to play, and it's very curious.
Ted, didn't you just acquire an Xbox?
I did. I acquired an Xbox.
I'm looking at it. You own it.
I
think I'm on a line with Ted. I mean, obviously, I think the game I really want to hear more about is Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and what the hell is this sequel. That being said, it would not surprise me if we don't hear anything about it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you will.
I don't think so either.
Like that's
I think Nintendo is in the worst spot, and they will never admit it, and we'll never know it. Actually, but it's probably going to be a pretty light show. They're going to focus a lot on Mario Golf.
No. I take that back. They will say something because they said something on their direct, but it was like nothing. They said something, but it was nothing.
I think for
Zelda, they have a game coming out called Project Triangle Strategy.
To be fair, that's a Square Enix, and that's only because people loved Octopath Traveler so much they kept the name. No, I think you'll get a title for Breath of the Wild 2 and like a small glimpse, but like maybe like a screen of gameplay of Link running or something. That's it.
Do you think they announce next year?
I don't even think they date it. I think they're smart. I think they just don't even date it.
No, they shouldn't date anything for a while here.
Yeah, I just don't.
You especially another thing, especially with like the sort of like outlook with microcontrollers and all that, it could be really dry for like Switches coming out too. So they're probably like, ooh man, when do we want to actually like release our product, and will it even get made? Because they're no longer CDs, they're chips. They actually have chips in it. So it's like if they can't source the parts to make the game like physical, then they could only have a digital release. Like that'd be crazy.
That's I mean, I think that Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out with the Switch Pro. I mean, that's kind of like the big rumor and everything that people are.
Yeah, the Pro is pretty
so
rumored.
Whatever the Switch Pro is, that's what Breath of the Wild 2
they can talk about that. I don't know, like because but they like it's just I don't see, there's so much scarcity still. Like it's hard to get PS5s. Apparently Ted can get a Series X like no problem, but I don't know.
He inherited it.
Exactly. He could toss that Series
X. Listen, I paid $420.69 for that Xbox.
Yeah.
Say no more. It smells like weed.
The game that I'm most excited, I think, though, besides that, just Xbox in general, like Ted was talking about, but I'm so curious about Starfield.
I don't think we'll see too much.
Really, I think we'll see a ton. I think that's their big thing. I think it's Halo and Starfield.
I think so. What about Skyrim or Elder Scrolls?
Dude, I don't know. I'm curious if if we see the new Wolfenstein game, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Because new Colossus was fucking phenomenal. So that's exciting too.
I really
think Bethesda's been working on all this.
Yeah,
after Doom, their team was having.
They're all different studios. They're all different studios. Machine Games has been working on. Yeah, but Machine Games has been working on Wolfenstein for like 4 years now.
No. Sorry. I'll talk about Starfield. I'm just like, I'm still on Starfield.
I think Starfield was more complete than we think. I think it's further along than we know. They haven't released a game since. I mean, Fallout 4 was 2015.
Bethesda. And then, you mean Bethesda proper? So not including Doom 2.
No, just Bethesda.
Not including the id Software and all. Okay.
Yeah.
Fallout 4.
Fallout 76 and Fallout
76.
4.
Oh, was Fallout 76 a first party production?
Yeah.
Yeah, and 76 was 2017, wasn't it? So they had to fix Fallout 76, so maybe they worked on it for 3 years.
They reworked 76 a lot, and then
I think this is going to be a very dry E3 season. I think it's going to be every big company is going to pick 1 to 2 heavy hitters, and then and maybe a couple like we're making it, but we're not going to give you any details, and then just focus on 1 or 2 games that are definitely coming out and really push those hard. Because I have to imagine working from home in this pandemic ruined a lot of production schedules.
If that ruins so much, because even like I was saying, like with id Software, they were like really on the ball with their stuff, and they had to like postpone their recent release because they couldn't handle the tight schedule. Whereas other companies were just like, all right, we know what we need to do. We're already pushing everything. So I feel like that game Starfield is
such on how many remasters come out or are announced.
Are we getting Skyrim for PS5 and Xbox Series S?
We have to.
We have to, right?
Wait. Yeah. Maybe not. It's Microsoft.
That's a good point. Now that's a good point.
Fuck you,
PS. Just for Xbox.
Just for Xbox. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I'm just curious. I'm curious to see how much Bethesda and Xbox are like already integrated and kind of. That's just fascinating to me. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
We'll
so June, was it June 13th, June 15th?
Yeah, the weekend of June 13th, whatever the closest weekend that is.
3 weeks.
I don't know. I hope we see some companies like Microsoft, people who are struggling, who don't really have anything. Maybe Nintendo, but my hopes for them are pretty low. Just Microsoft shotgun blast stuff that's coming out. Just give me something. I don't need release dates. I don't need gameplay yet. Just give me something that like, hey, this is coming and it's exclusive. You paying for Game Pass is going to pay off. Yeah. Like, I don't really care what it is or how close it is to done. Just let me know what you're making. You know what I mean?
By the way, Nintendo isn't at E3, right?
They've said they are at E3, but I don't think they've announced what that means yet and how they're gonna have a direct. They've had a direct forever.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I think I'm a direct. Yeah,
I got to imagine that's when we see one. I think we're just gonna get a ton of announcements of stuff that has no dates, and we're just gonna live in limbo.
That's what we already had, though.
Just give me something. Yeah, give me promises.
Show what they already showed.
Yeah, well, or announce a ton of new stuff. I mean, we still don't know a ton. We just a lot of stuff.
I feel like they gave everything like recently, like. At least for the year. I mean, they can for next year.
Yeah. No, I think it's all going to be 2022, 2023.
Let's see the spring stuff, like the spring lineup.
That gives me a solid year and a half to play Mass Effect.
Yep. You're good. Yeah. You're golden. Yeah. Speaking of Mass Effect, great transition, Ted. Let's talk about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Released on basically everything. Not PS5, Xbox Series X, but it's PS4 up-res and stuff. Understandable. 3 games in one, all of the DLC except for like 2 DLC packs randomly.
Yeah, man.
Which
Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
There was a piece of DLC. I think it was for Mass Effect 2.
And there's one for one, right?
And Mass Effect 1 that the source code is gone. They lost
that's the one. That's Mass Effect 1.
Yeah. Yeah, they straight up said like, hey, we tried to find, and they said it wasn't that interesting. It was kind of like wave defense. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not missing much, but they also said like, hey, this is no longer a thing. Like, we can't find the original source code. It's been deleted.
That's so weird.
It's gone forever.
I mean, I feel like when that game is so old, and wherever that was, like wherever that original source, there's no way they're archiving from way back when.
Yeah,
it was 2007.
Yeah, that's pretty far away.
That's old, man. It's like
don't tell me. Don't say years. Stuff like that.
14 years.
That was 3 years ago. You know it.
So it's missing some DLC, but pretty much everything there. And then Mass Effect 3 does not have its multiplayer. But the director of this project recently said, like, we haven't said no to that yet. So there could be
never say no.
Never say no. It could be a DLC thing or something add on to it. That multiplayer is pretty cool. So,
what's the price, Jake, for 3 games?
For the 3 games, $60. And James, not just 3 games. You've got one of the great games of all time, Mass Effect 2. You've got a sequel that got really just ripped apart because it has a shitty ending, but it's a good sequel.
Yeah. Should we? This is going to have the reworked ending.
Yeah, which I haven't played, which I'm kind of curious
about. Do you think they have the original ending somewhere? Do you think they'll release that as like a deleted scenes type thing?
I'd be curious. I don't even actually know what the new ending is.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, the original ending, you walked up to like a platform, and then they went, you have one of 3 choices. Walk towards the one you choose. And then that's what you did, and that's how the game ended. And it was like, no, all right. How the hell are they going to end this game? So I want to talk to you guys. You guys have been playing Mass Effect 1. I want to know how many hours in and what we think so far. I want to start with James, though, because James has never played Mass Effect.
Yeah, I never played Mass Effect, and I'm about 10 hours in.
Okay.
But I've been taking it real slow.
Yeah,
so like I've probably spent like 5 hours on like.
I think Mass Effect is a game you should savor.
Yeah. So I basically haven't gotten too far because I'm in the part where you like after you try and accuse what is it, Saren, yeah, like that he like fucked up, and then or like he was then it was just like it was like a political like stunt basically, like you couldn't win, so they like try and do it with the ambassador, and then afterwards like you almost get assassinated by his assassins, and then you pick up Garrus.
Yeah.
And rolling with Garrus right now, and trying to like he's on your side.
So you're doing a ton of side missions and everything?
I'm like just exploring everything. Because what I like about it is
around the Citadel,
you know where you need to go, but you're kind of freeform with where you can go, if that makes sense. Like I can just like, teleport here, teleport there, and look around and see what people are saying. And it's I mean, there's not much. I mean, it's old game, but it's still pretty impressive.
Ted, what do you where are you at, and how do you feel about it?
I think I am 16 hours in ish. I made a whoopsie-daisy. I made an I accidentally deleted my save. But I wasn't that far in. We chatted last week.
Yeah.
You said you were a Vanguard. I said I was a Vanguard. We, bonded.
I'm a soldier.
I have rectified that fucking mistake, and I'm a soldier in Mass Effect 2.
Oh my god!
Nice.
Yeah, James messaged me privately late at night and said I'm a soldier.
That's what I like to hear.
I literally don't remember. Like I must have blacked out making my character. Just like, yep, that works.
James is just chugging whiskey, being like, I don't know about this choice.
No, I was messing around with other classes because I thought I was just gonna check them out, see the differences. Taking a look at a list of changes, and I accidentally saved and overwrote my save, which was not that big of a deal. I only made it past the Citadel, which is not that far if you know how to breeze through it.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. These it's like normal kind of save. Like you can save and you have another slot and you can save.
Yeah.
Do you guys normally have one save that you overwrite constantly, or do you do like here's this save for this area, or you do two?
I have two, so I always just.
I'm a 2 slot as well. Like I'll do like a previous like one back and then
just in case I fuck up like that.
It's happened.
I used to be a one saver, and recently I've become just always a new slot because why not?
Slot.
Yeah.
I used to be that, but then the BioShock collection for PS4, the saves were like gigabytes.
Oh yeah.
And so like, I couldn't do it. I think I told James this problem when I was playing. I was like, I could only have one save in BioShock because it's like I've got 90 gigabytes of just saves from BioShock 1.
Yeah. So I am 16-ish hours in on a new character. I just went back and made an infiltrator because we talked last week, and I really wanted to try out the new sniping stuff because that completely changes the game.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the snipe?
It's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah.
You guys playing mouse and keyboard?
Everyone in the audience.
I'm playing keyboard mouse. Are you playing keyboard mouse, by the way?
No, I'm playing controller.
Okay, so it's even good with controller.
It's good.
I'm like the keyboard mouse. Like, there's good controls.
But everyone can calm down. I remade President Barack Obama. He's still my character. And I'm still playing him as a renegade.
I like that Obama's a little badass.
Yeah. Well, so actually, I want to amend what I said last week. This game's dialogue, good bad options are much better than Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. I've messing around with it a lot because I got to replay it, so I got to try slightly different options in the hour or so that I redid. And it seems like this game, if you're talking about an action or doing something, that's when it'll affect your Paragon Renegade stuff. Mm-hmm. So if you're just greeting somebody, you can be super nice, and then if you talk about doing something, that's when you'll get points based on what you say.
Yeah.
So I have been basically very nice to people, but every time I get the option to be a renegade or intimidate somebody, I'll take it. And I look like President Barack Obama. It's a great time.
So that is my only thing about Mass Effect that gets a little scary. Just some advice for you, I guess, James. You have to kind of lean one way or the other, though.
Yep.
Like you can't.
I've been pretty neutral recently, but like I don't know. Like if someone was a dick to me, I'd be a dick to them.
Because like you're gonna eventually get choices where you need to have certain levels of charm or intimidate.
Yep.
And they're very important.
Yep.
One of them is like the most important choice I think there is.
Yeah.
In games. So just FYI, start making sure you have at least like I think 5 points in charm or intimidate. Before Vermeer, just a little heads up.
Yeah. So I've been playing a little renegade Barack Obama.
Love it.
As the infiltrator, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying my time with it. I'm really enjoying this remake.
Yeah, it's good. I haven't had a single issue, which is rare,
so
for this kind of game.
I beat the game in like 12 hours, but I just mainlined it because I'm gonna be very honest. For me, I don't like the way Mass Effect 1 plays compared to 2. 2 is much more of a third-person shooter with some RPG elements, where 1 is a very heavy RPG that like.
Yep.
There's a lot of trugging and slogging in my opinion.
A lot of reading. Yep.
A lot of reading.
There's a lot.
You know me. I don't fucking read. Come on. But that being said, the story to Mass Effect 1 is awesome. And like I kind of forgot certain things about the story that
set up so well.
Yeah, it really is.
Its first episode, if this was a Netflix series, is just fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know what it reminds me of, like Halo politics. Like if we just like took out the fighting for Halo and made it like an RPG, this would be political. That game kind of thing. Yeah. Like it'd be kind of.
And just I mean. Everyone knows that characters in Mass Effect are just fantastic, but it just so reinforces that, especially like playing just from 1 to 2 back to back, and I can't wait to do 3 is just like seeing like certain characters again in 2, and you're like, I can't play with them, like they're not on my team, but it's so cool to like meet them again and interact with them in a certain way. And I think just that's like the standout of Mass Effect for me. And so it's been really great to do that, despite some stuff in 1 not being my cup of tea. It's been cool to go back and experience it again.
I'm the opposite. I love Mass Effect 1.
But you haven't beaten it, right?
No, I never beaten it. I got very close a couple times and just didn't continue. Just stuff got in the way.
It's so weird.
I had to go play Gears of War 2 with my friends. Come on.
All right, that makes sense.
Priorities, yeah.
Makes sense.
But no, yeah.
I do want Mass Effect 1.
What's up?
When did you play Mass Effect 1?
In 2009.
Probably when Gears of War 2 was out,
yeah. I was like, because Gears 1 came out like 2007, right? Around the same time.
Yeah, and Gears 3 came out when my freshman year of college.
Don't fact check my Xbox 360 days. No, but I have been having a great time. This remaster I think is really cool. At least for Mass Effect 1, they have redone a lot of little things to make it a single playthrough experience.
Yep. The shooting is completely revamped.
Yeah, so I was noticing this. They basically cut the level cap in half.
Kind of. You can choose one of 2 options. This is a cool feature.
Yeah, so you can play it the original way, or you can play it on something called like legendary like difficulty, which sounds tough. But
no, it's not difficulty. It's like
called legendary mode.
No, it's edition. It's like their remake.
Yeah, and they basically made it so that you get enough level experience to max out in 1 playthrough as opposed to 2.
Yes.
Which honestly, it means that you're kind of overpowered for most of the game. Yeah. You're getting almost twice as much XP. You're getting XP on the Mako missions, which you weren't before, I guess. Yeah. Which is great.
James, have you driven this fucking tank around yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I want to see if James had yet.
It's so much better than it was before.
Ted, you liked it. That's why I remember like.
I don't like it. It's not good, and it definitely doesn't serve the overall experience.
It really takes away from it.
Yeah. It's much better than before.
Yeah.
And you're also, like I said, you're kind of overpowered throughout this entire game, so it just adds to that. You're like, all right, yeah, I'll blow these things up. But yeah, you are slightly overpowered, you're slightly overgeared, and you're always over level. Like your talents are kind of above where they should be, which is really nice in my opinion. There are times kind of around the 15-hour mark where like, your unlockability and your electronics ability start to matter. And I've unlocked most of those things because I have plenty of points. Yeah. And if I was playing the original, I would have had to like make some tough choices, which I always hate in RPGs.
Me too.
Where they're like, your electronics isn't high enough. You can't open this door. And you're like, all right, fine.
That's the thing from Knights of the Old Republic where you send Karth to unlock a door and he goes, no problem. Didn't work. Yeah. All the time because his electronic skill was never fucking high enough. And so it's ingrained in my brain.
They've honestly tuned Mass Effect 1 for you to kind of sort of just get through it. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's fine, too.
Yeah, I would say like for what I think is really cool about the collection of this as itself is they really did work to make Mass Effect 1 feel like 2 and 3 a little bit. I think
redesigned HUD, redesigned gunplay.
They redesigned even like cooldowns for med kits. Like I remember in the first Mass Effect, med kits took like hours to fucking recharge. Like you could use one a mission. And they've really revamped that. I would say the one thing that I was not impressed by was the cover system because, and I actually
the cover system.
So when I played it, I was like, wait, do I not remember the Mass Effect 2 cover system? Like, do I have like some, love vision for it that I'm not seeing it correctly? No, it's a better cover system in 2 still. Like
it is active as opposed to Mass Effect 1 where you're supposed to just stand next to it and hope for the best.
And it never works.
Yeah,
it never works.
It doesn't, or it works when you don't want it to. And you're like, get me out of here.
Yeah. So I never went into cover Mass Effect 1 because it was like the worst thing.
No,
Yeah, so I think like the quality of life stuff that they've improved, but Mass Effect 1 is the biggest jump of gameplay from 1 to 2, and they will cut out a bunch of stuff of how the game works from 1 to 2.
Mass Effect 1 is also a great world builder. It sets you up in this almost Star Trek-ian world.
Very Star Trek.
Yeah, with all kinds of alien creatures interwoven and having to deal with each other in such a great way.
What's really cool about, and just like Star Trek, the number of species is relatively small.
Yeah.
Like it's only like 5 or 6 species.
Yeah, you get to know everybody pretty quick.
I think that's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're on a roll.
No, it's fine. I think the narrative of this, I won't spoil anything specific, but the overall world and the aspect feels very cool. You as a human being do feel like a small fish in a big pond. I'm low-key, since I'm the renegade, I'm low-key role-playing my character to be just like a teeny bit xenophobic.
Okay.
Which is made for some very interesting dialogue choices.
You will love Atlee.
Yeah, basically.
There's a companion you get in this game, Atlee, and she is, in the first game, just a racist. Just a full-blown xenophobic racist. Like, she hates every alien for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, and like, if you romance another alien, she'll walk in and be like, you're with that? And I'm like, oh my god. It's my girlfriend, bro. Like, come on. Don't insult Liara, man. God damn.
But yeah, and hearing, learning about these races and these characters' backstories is always super fun. BioWare does a fantastic job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great ride this entire time.
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful for like more remasters at this level. Like I think back in the past, like, man, what else can be done? We've had recent success with the Master Chief Collection, which just come to PC, and they just recently reworked 1 because it had like some issues with graphics, so they reworked it again.
Wow.
There's gonna be some graphics improvements there. Saints Row remastered is coming out pretty soon, from what I've been hearing. Saints Row 3? I don't know. One of those is getting remastered, but yeah. I love 1 and 2.
I would agree. I think that's like just the remaster of this in general. It's so funny it took this long for BioWare and EA to do it. But I think like
it was a calculated move. Let's say Andromeda didn't do well.
No,
BioWare needs to win
because they knew Andromeda was going to do well.
Yeah. That being said, I haven't played 3, which has been changed a lot as well. 3 was a very different game back then, and is now a different game even to that.
Yeah.
3 was a game you were supposed to play for a bit and then switch over and play the multiplayer a whole bunch to grind up. What is this word?
It's your galactic readiness.
Your galactic readiness. Yeah, you needed a certain level either in a mobile app or in the multiplayer mode to progress in the story.
Jesus. So that's ridiculous. That's like completely fixed now. That it's not. I mean, obviously there's no multiplayer, but
fixed. I mean, they just said if you load in a save from Mass Effects 1 and 2, you'll be fine.
Yeah, but also you get more Galactus readiness points throughout the campaign of 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. What I think is really cool about Mass Effect, and it's not really spoiling, I don't think, but the first game is very much about like you and Sheppard and like his or her story. Yep. Sorry, I play as a guy Sheppard. So, James, did you play as the standard Sheppard?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's who I play as. Yeah.
Which the voice acting is incredible.
He gets a lot better.
The least. Yeah.
He gets a lot better. He's really good in certain scenes in the first game. And then he's just derpy in a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. Some things like it's great. And other scenes it's like, man, you're really phoning it in here.
Yeah. Anytime he's with Saren, he's like pretty good. But the first one's like about Sheppard and like where he or she fits in the galaxy. And then the second one becomes like your squad and like it's a big team and it's about like these characters and, you know, leveling them up almost in a sense and like their loyalty and like that's the readiness you need. And then the third one became like each species readiness and you're like working with them in like certain galactic species issues.
Yeah.
Species issues. Yeah. Which I think is really cool. And I think that's gonna be fun for everyone to like, hopefully people that are playing all the way through it to like see those like moments of like, this is the character one, this is the world one, this is the, like, I think that's really cool. Because like the second game's story is a much smaller scale than the first one.
Yeah.
And I think that's fun. So
yeah, I'm excited to play the second one.
Yeah,
definitely taking my time.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if they would ever include that Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I think that would be a fun thing to revisit.
Me too.
Yeah. Also, apparently, they have added in all of the DLC guns and all of the DLC into this incorporated into this collection. And apparently that does include like the Mountain Dew and Doritos branded guns. Those are available in store, like in the merchant shops.
Yes.
So, yeah, this game was reeks with like corporate branding of
the third one.
Of the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And there is, Dr. Pepper, the gun skin, and just all kinds of ridiculous shit.
That's awesome.
And apparently I kept that in the game, which I think is
That's
neat.
Cool.
And important, that was a time in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I'm excited I've never played a lot of the DLC for most of these games, so that'll be cool to go back and try everything out. I mean, I didn't have a lot of money when I was a 14-year-old child, so it's cool to You know,
couldn't buy the Doritos gun.
I couldn't. My parents would not.
I bet you it was a pre-order or some kind of like you had to buy enough cans to get it.
Buy enough bags of Doritos and then in the inside.
Yeah. Gosh.
So James, I want to talk to you a little bit about how it feels playing a old game as a new game for you, because they all look stunningly beautiful. Like there are certain shots in this game that's like beautiful. Does it feel old?
It definitely is showing its age, but it reminds me of playing like Halo 1 Master Chief Collection. Like, so it's not old in the sense that like, man, this is unplayable. It's old in the sense of like, man, it feels like I'm like the controls are nice and everything's kind of like AI is kind of like not as good.
Yeah.
But story's making up for it. It's just I don't know, like there is definitely like you could sense it's remastered, but it's not like taking away from the old game, which I think is fine. Like I don't want someone just like, you know, lipsticked on, it's a different game, like here's a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I just want a functional old game, which can be good. Like it's like when you go back to like Unreal Tournament or Quake, like people still playing on those old games and how it looks, it's like it looks awful. But it's fun and it's like the gameplay core mechanics are all there. Just like if I want to play original Doom, old but still fun.
Yeah.
I played original Doom on an Xbox Series X. Runs pretty good. Yeah.
That was the first game you played on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Gotta see if Doom. I'm returning it if Doom doesn't run on there.
Yeah,
that's what I did with the Raspberry Pi, like for like one school project. I was like, "Here's Doom running on it. It's great."
Yeah.
But it actually it can run Doom when it's off. It's actually pretty incredible. The Xbox Series X runs it while it's turned off.
But yeah, it is old, but it's the core mechanics of it has been reworked enough to where it's new. Like in the sense that I can like know exactly like what I want my key bindings to be, and it feels kind of like a new game.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
that's all you want, like really. With these kind of
I would say
you don't want it to like them to spoil too much, like reworkings too much, where it's like, okay, this doesn't even feel like the same game.
Yeah,
it's very true.
If there's one thing that the remaster did not improve, it's still your companion AI in Mass Effect 1. They are still pretty brain dead.
Yes, AI is not good. But
I found that a really good strategy is just to put all of their points into armor, armor them up, and then just send them out there as a tank, as a bait. Yeah. And then everyone shoots at them, and I get to just pick them off one by one. That's my go-to strategy in every fight, and it works.
The opposite way, and then I'd be one way, and then they would shoot that way, and then I can crossfire them. So, shoot my guys.
Yeah, you definitely have to like instruct your squad mates a lot in the first game to do stuff.
Yeah.
Gets a little frustrating.
It's fine.
It's honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm excited to play them all in time.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, is your guys' plan to play through all three?
I want to play through all three. Yeah.
Yes, but
it's gonna take
probably at a slower pace than you. Yeah.
Yeah, I
get to play about 6 hours a week, so I got plenty of months ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm about to live like a bachelor for 2 weeks, so like I think I'll have 3 done in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about. First off, I want to say the visuals in this game are, like we just mentioned a little bit, but like heavily improved. The lighting is like so awesome. Yeah. But what the best compliment that James, I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast or whatever, but my favorite compliment to a remake is when I look at a game and it looks just like I remember it.
That's the highest compliment.
And like I've played Mass Effect 2 so many times that like starting that game up and it booted up like how it booted up the intro of the game. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I was like, holy shit, it looks just like I remember it looking, which I know it doesn't look like that now. But like that's like the best compliment a remaster can do is like capture it perfectly. Mm-hmm. And I really think that this like does, it really captures how it looked when you played it in 2007.
So one thing I want to bring up is we talked about this in the past, like remasters versus remakes. Mm-hmm. And this is a true remaster.
Yeah.
However, we can't include it on like our 2021 like game of the year list because it's a remaster. Yeah. It's not a remake like Final Fantasy VII. That was a remake, and we can include that. It's a completely different game.
I'm including it at this point. It's probably the 5th game I've played this year. So I'm including it.
There's not a lot of games out there.
Technicality there, but we should definitely like honorable mention it probably because it's something I think the industry is moving towards. You're gonna see a lot of these ports, these like reworks, these remasters coming out soon because it's not that they're easy, but they're easy money. Like that's like you want to cash in on nostalgia, and people's like, man, I do remember playing the game. Like, man, I wish I could play that game because it's like almost unplayable, or you can't even play it anywhere. We were talking about this before because you would always talk about Mass Effect 2, Jake, and it was just like, well, what are Ted and I gonna do? Like, where are we gonna play? Like, what's like
the 2010 port of it on PC?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know there's been mods like that you can play, but I want something more official.
Yeah, I think it is corporate greed that's why we're getting remasters. They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But there is a problem with the video game world that when an old game ages out on hardware, like it just becomes unplayable.
Yeah.
Like right now, like for me, I always think about Ocarina of Time. Like the fact that I can't play Ocarina of Time just on my modern console, like that is a big problem. The only way for me to play a somewhat modern version is the 3DS. You know, like
a now outdated console that you would struggle to get.
Right. Yeah. And so like that I think is like a great thing for remakes or remasters. Primarily, I mean, I guess remasters is like it's helping solve that like old movie thing where you can go watch The Sting with Robert Redford and you can do that on Amazon right away.
Yeah.
And like that's awesome. You can't do that with games. Like PC's a little easier, but you know.
It's so much easier to res old
you can't do that with games assuming they're supported by the people who made them.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's just a fundamental problem of games.
Yeah.
And that's like a solution that I think we are getting towards with now, like our modern era, but now going back into that back catalog.
So one thing where like I just think of Bend all the time, like, but you may see like studios pop up that will be like, okay, hey, we'll do the port remake for you because we've done like this kind of work.
Yeah.
And you'll see companies, you know, just start, you know.
That's Bluepoint. That's Studio Bluepoint.
Bluepoint. Yeah, like subcontracting the games, like just for ports only.
What did Bluepoint?
Bluepoint's done quite a few remasters. They did like Uncharted remaster. I believe they did the Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Yes, they did.
They did something more recent. Also, they remastered that was really good as well. So they're. I mean,
that's a direction I think. Yeah, will happen. Like you'll see these companies that will either already exist and just like shift that way, or like become even bigger, like doing more. Yeah, which is fine. I think that's good for the consumer. Like that's something where it's like, okay, I want this in my collection to play eventually, like relive like this kind of experience that you're talking about, like, you know, having that. I bet the developers like having people like re-talk about it and like thinking about like the past, and it just sucks like when a game just like is stuck in its time and you can never go back to it, like because there's no easy way.
Yeah, it's
without pirating or something like that.
Yeah, of course I can pirate Ocarina of Time and play a mod of it or a ROM or whatever, and but it's a little different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's just a problem that I hope we see fixed, and obviously we're seeing it with just remasters of these games that now we'll forever have like a pretty good looking Mass Effect collection, which is sweet.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up the show, I just want to gush over Mass Effect 2 for a second. It's just so great. It's so great to be back. It's so fun. I can't wait for James to play this, and Ted. I guess Ted hasn't played it either, but like I just can't wait for you to play the next step of Mass Effect. And like if you really like the characters that you're with now, like they have some great character arcs for your side characters in the next game. There's a doctor who is like one of my favorite characters in all games, Morden. Morden is just awesome. So you will meet a lot of characters that are just fantastic.
That's what I'm trying to do, like try to get attached to a character or like hopefully don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear, just like, you know, lose a character that you can never see them ever again. It's like,
yes, and there are moments in Mass Effect 1 where you can lose characters and never see them again, and then you won't be able to use them in other games. So just be wary of that.
Yeah, I'm actively trying to take those risks because why not? You know, this is my time with it. I'm not going to shoot Rex, but you know, I'm just saying that like I'll get close.
You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a point in The Witcher 3 where you do that. Like you go and recruit people for like a fight. And if you like don't kill them or you don't like, you know, you never like run good towards them, you can't like recruit anyone. So it's just like a thing about like that. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I like.
Just make your choices and live with them.
That's what I like about Mass Effect 1 and then 3 is that there are certain characters in 1 that you can't get in 3 based on your choices of 1. Yeah. Which I think is really cool. So
that's a cool thing that you can do that.
Yeah, and it carries all the way through. Side note too, for those people that don't want to play Mass Effect 1 and jump into 2, there is the comic book that they put out. But they put out a DLC comic book, like digital comic, that allows you to make all the choices of Mass Effect 1 to set up your 2 game. Because the default choices of Mass Effect 2, certain characters are dead. and they picked them for you. So there is a comic book that allows you to choose.
Yeah, did you see that?
Choices.
I was reading about this. This wasn't available for the Xbox 360.
Yes, the comic.
Yeah, it was like a PS3 exclusive and computer or Wii U, something like that exclusive.
Yeah, it was
Wii
like
U.
It was something weird. It wasn't on the Xbox 360. So
yeah, because when I played the that's how I got it. When I played the PS3 version after I played Xbox 360 Mass Effect 2, I got to choose my story. So
Nice.
Yeah, just a little side note. Any final thoughts on Mass Effect? Or are we just gonna trug in and check in next time we play some 2?
Yeah, I'll get to 2 eventually this summer, and I'm excited for it.
And we'll talk about it then.
I mean, every time I load this game, I spend a solid hour just vibing to the menu music. So
of course. Also, the load times are so cool.
It's pretty fast. Like I'm just boom, boom, in.
I'm so used to.
I hang out on the Normandy a lot, and I just stand on the bridge and say number 1.
Nope, that's
status report.
Oh, you just said that out loud.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Waiting for Commander Riker to show up, but he never does.
He doesn't. Nope. He's stuck on another ship, different ship out in space.
I'll have to get him a transfer.
Yeah, beam him up. Thank you so much for watching the 56th episode.
We are not ending on a dumb Star Trek reference.
Fine. Okay.
You guys play anything else? Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, we played anything else? No, I played Overwatch.
I've played a lot of this game.
Oh, wait, we do gotta talk about something, Jake. What did we do this past weekend?
Oh, we talking about Warzone?
Yeah, let's talk about Warzone.
Ted fucking Libby. Holy shit. Okay, I got some stories to tell, and I'm gonna tell them on camera.
Yeah. Last time I played Warzone, for the record, this is actually news. We played a game together.
Yeah.
And then more friends came on, and then an update dropped, like actually mid-game, and then we all had to sit there and wait for 32 gigs to download.
Except if you're on PS5, because apparently it downloads while you play.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
That was silly.
Yeah,
anyway,
that was weird.
Continue.
Yeah, so the 80s Warzone pack came out. The Bruce Willis.
Wait, Ted, you haven't played it at all?
No.
Because you had to go, right?
Yeah, Ted didn't play it.
I had to go to bed because it was 32 gigs. Yeah.
So we hopped in on this past weekend with Hunter. Part of the Dago Boys, which is our new Star Wars podcast up on youtube.com/Soundscape.
Probably one of our best openings, I feel.
It was good. It's
really well done.
I did good work. I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we jumped in with Hunter, and there's now where the tower used to be in Warzone, they added the Nakatomi Plaza from Die Hard. So it's like the actual building with all of when you walk in there, it is the Nakatomi Plaza.
And then everywhere else is the jungle from Rambo.
Yes, exactly.
That would be great.
Yeah. They do have a Rambo area, though. There's like a tent, apparently, and that's like Rambo's tent.
Rambo gets a tent, and
Die Hard gets a fucking tower, yeah. Anyways, our first game, we won. We won our first game on normal Warzone. Then we hop into Resurgence, and we fucking win our first game in that. Back-to-back wins. Did we win another game after that? No.
But we came in second. So first, second, and then the last game doesn't count. But
last game was bad.
Anyways, in the Nakatomi Plaza, there's this vault you can open with a bunch of money, and there's perks. There's this perk that you can get, this bonus that gives you all the perks.
Yep.
So you basically, if you can open up the vault, you get what is it, 80K in cash, something like that. It's something ridiculous. And you can just win the game. So we basically just did that.
Yeah.
They had that in the previous map. And a lot of people were kind of complaining about it, of it is not necessarily hard to do this activity. It almost guarantees that one team will win the match.
I've seen some of the pro players go after it, and it is not hard. They've gotten it consistently every single time they go for it. The one thing though that they've changed that I didn't experience though is that there's an attack helicopter around the tower. And if you're anywhere near out the tower, it'll just kill you. It'll basically destroy you if you're outside.
Just start shredding you.
If there's people contesting it, it can get pretty hairy. But we only had one team or something, and it's pretty free.
It was pretty fun. Yeah. The 80s update is cool. I like this 80s. I hope they add more 80s action heroes into this game.
Yeah.
Just you wait, because next year it's going to be all World War II themed.
I know. If I can play as Tom Hanks from Saving Private Ryan, I am in.
I love it if they just keep going this movie route.
Why not? That'd be so good.
Get some Mission Impossible type building. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool. Play as Ethan Hunt. I'm in.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching episode 56 of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. You're
gonna get John Cena from the Marine Origins.
The Rock from the Scorpion King.
The Rock that you could just do the people's elbow off of the tower.
Well, okay, don't threaten me with a good time. Just make Call of Duty a wrestling game. I'm in.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Undertaker throw mankind off a building. And...
The Undertaker comes out. Strobe lights
Wrestling
everywhere.
Battle Royale.
We need to end this show.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.